Well, there you go. No, I think you should bring a yes and mindset. Not just yes, but yes and to all my terrible ideas.
Stop it. I have to yes and all fucking day, every day. With you and with people that love me, presumably, I really need to just be yes or no.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm giving you a yes, you should accept it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
dickhead.
Is it not fair to also ask for some evaluation of the idea, for example?
Sure.
Okay.
Have you ever known me to be one who hasn't made his feelings known about an idea or example?
You usually do.
Yeah, you usually do.
Yeah.
You can count on that.
Okay,
buddy.
good. Well, that's what I am counting on.
Always.
So I'm hoping that'll happen.
But it's not going to be wrapped up in your little yes and package.
Doesn't
every
have
time.
to be.
It's not going to be.
It doesn't have to be.
Good. It's not going to be.
I just want it though. You know what I mean? I don't want just the yes. I want the other stuff too.
You say that, and then everything following the and, you get sensitive about. Everything following the and in a yes and, you're like, well, but that's something I really worked hard on.
Well, maybe you should package it in a yes and then. Well, here's a great idea.
Guys has problems with my packaging.
Johnny Stampanato's package, on the other hand. I got no problem with that.
No.
Okay, well, here's an idea.
Nary a complaint.
I have an idea. What if we looked at a list of the 101 greatest screenplays ever written as evaluated by the American Guild of somebody or other West, and compare and our movie LA Confidential is on the list, and we compare it to the Writers Guild of America West. Good old wow.
Well, Bill, that sounds like a podcast.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
My first question, though, is why does the Writers Guild of America have conferences East and West? Well, is there a tournament? Is there a selection Sunday? Do they meet in some kind of bracketed formation? And does one writer walk away the winner?
You haven't been watching Writers Bowl every year?
Are there 4 final writers on a weekend in March or April?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sit there. They sit across from each other at a long table. One guy's got a computer. One guy's got a typewriter because he's real old school, you know?
Well, I'm rooting for the old school guy.
And they're just going to town. Writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it.
I watch that like incessantly.
I love it.
Yeah.
That guy on the typewriter's got a hush hush button. He's just yamming away at the hush hush button.
And sometimes they stop to drink or like drink coffee or like just think, they stare off into space, you know, and you're like, ooh, what's he going to do next?
Right. What's coming up next?
Yeah. Which is what a screenplay is all about, really.
So that's it. That's why there's a West and an East.
I guess that's
there is
why.
A final face-off.
There's got to be
an annual.
I'm assuming
battle for the crown.
Yeah, writers
for the trophy.
For the
Oscar
pants. I don't know.
Do they call anyone Oscar because their cocks are huge? Anyone?
No, they don't.
Okay,
but you know, they like to write. Or they don't like to do it, but they do it because they are good at it and they get paid money to do it.
Okay. I'm sorry for derailing.
No, please derail at all costs.
We're talking about the list.
Yeah, the list. 101 greatest screenplays. This was compiled, again, by the Writers Guild of America West.
I mean, I can vouch for the East folks. I have no idea if these Western folks can be trusted.
Well, I didn't find the Eastern Guild's list of 101 greatest screenplays.
I'm so curious.
So this
is it about things that get created in the West, like Hollywood?
No.
And there's a separate Writers Guild for Broadway style things?
Maybe. That's possible. I think it would be geographical more than like, you know, metaphorical West and East. But I don't know.
This feels like a very Celtics Lakers thing. It really feels like.
I see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Now I understand why you don't like the West.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, get that image out of your head.
Well, speaking of image, I mean, that's all they're concerned about.
That's true.
Out West.
Out West, yeah. So that's why they released this thing, and the people on the East were like, "Our screenplays speak for themselves."
Yeah, look, we don't rank them.
We don't need to make.
That's things for Western people.
That's right. We don't need to make listicles. We don't give a fuck what you think about our screenplays.
Well, this is super exciting. This is a super exciting list.
It is a great list. And our movie, LA Confidential, is on this list of the 101 greatest screenplays.
On the list of the 101.
Yeah.
Somewhere in 100 to 101
That's right.
lies our movie.
That's right.
Which is saying something in and of itself.
Out of the thousands of movies that have ever
All
been
of
made.
these movies are worth two white guys sitting around and talking about.
For sure.
sure.
For days.
Right?
Yeah.
For years, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, we have a comprehensive list of things to get to.
And I don't think Glengarry Glen Ross is on this list.
I mean, pour one out for old Dave Mamet.
And we did years on that screenplay. I mean, let's face it.
And by pour one out, I mean the old vintage gun oil barrel. Pour one of those out.
And pour it right on his head. Please,
I recently read an updated adaptation of American Buffalo written by a woman that involved 3 women. And it was really good.
Wow.
And I want to talk to you about it someday.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
Huh.
It was really good.
Interesting.
It was interesting.
I love that
idea.
idea.
Yeah, it was good.
That's
the
great.
Wilma was considering. Oh, the Wilma. That's where I work. I
Right.
said it.
There you go.
We maybe
Tony Award winning.
I guess it was easy to figure
The
out.
Tony Award winning Wilma
I just don't want to be tracked down. I just want to putting that on the record. Don't look me up. Don't see what the theater's up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I wanted to share that with you. I think you'd like it.
I would like that. Yeah, that sounds really cool.
It's a good update.
But I will say, I do think there is one David Mamet movie on this list. I haven't perused it all that hard, but I believe there is
There's
one
one for sure,
Yeah.
and it's the one that's deserving.
It's the one I love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you love another one that is beyond understanding.
Which
Your love for it is beyond understanding.
someday in a future, here's a tease, a Lynn Bracken tease for you. In a future,
Let's just call it a bracken from now on.
I'm going to bracken this
We're
up
going to
good.
bracken you.
In a future episode.
I love it.
In a future
Stop,
episode.
Stop. No, it's too much.
No, it's not.
It's too much
not
for me.
even enough.
It's too much for me.
In a future episode, I'm going to talk to you, Zumbo, about the link between The Edge and LA Confidential. Uh-huh.
That will not be a fun episode for me.
It's getting you all hot and bothered.
Not
isn't it?
unlike a Lynn Bracken episode. No, I won't like that, but I understand it's part of the thing. And with an open heart and an open mind,
There you go.
I enter into the journey willingly.
I will be the dominant and you'll be submissive during that part of it.
See, I don't know why you had to say that. It's not. That's not.
I didn't have to. I wanted to.
It's not a very comfortable place for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say a safe word?
Yeah, it's spoken like a real dominant. My apologies. Ooh. Hurt me.
Well, I didn't mean it that way. How about that? Does that make you feel better?
A little. A little.
All right, let's get to the list.
Get to this list, man.
So, ironically, LA Confidential falls pretty much right in the middle.
I think with this episode,
Yep.
sorry, I went back
Do it.
again on
Go
you.
ahead,
I think
derail
with this
it.
episode, what we're hoping to do as we're on the outset, we're in the first few steps of this journey. We're trying to contextualize our film.
Yep.
This is our space.
Yep.
And we're contextualizing it amongst the great films of our understanding and our knowing.
Yeah.
And it takes its place proudly
Absolutely.
among these great films.
Yeah, we're not talking about, some shitty movie that you shouldn't enjoy and watch,
We didn't
right?
jump on here to talk about Carlito's Way. That's not what we're doing here.
In a future podcast, we might do that and tell you how great it is. But for today,
we're contextualizing our film, giving us a nice rounded environment by which we understand emotionally this film works
yep,
and is effective and is valued by people who like and enjoy films.
right. And not to compare it to other movies, but that's what we're going to do.
That is exactly what we're going to do. And it's something we love doing.
We do,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's very personal and subjective whether you think one movie's better than another.
Yes.
Is super subjective.
So subjective.
We're going to disagree on some of these things,
There's
and
no
you're
good people,
free
there's
to
no bad
disagree with
people.
them. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. Yeah.
Tell us and get back to us in wherever we have all that shit
This
set up.
guy's got it all for you.
Then get back to us on Blue Sky or wherever the hell we are, and tell us what you think about our idiot takes on these movies. And if you have hot takes, if you have some hot takes, send them to us
Stop
too.
it. Stop it.
Why?
Man. I'm going to tell Kim Basinger on you.
All right.
Okay. Please do. All right. So how do we reveal where our movie is? Because that's our deviation point, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think we just say it because, I mean, you can guess everybody take a moment and think about LA Confidential.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 101.
Right. And think about where you think LA Confidential might come
That's right.
on a list like that.
Yes.
And we'll tell you the number, and you can be either shocked or mildly surprised, or you could be like, nailed it, or whatever.
If there were, I don't know, imagine that somebody thought there were 59 better screenplays than LA Confidential, that man would have made this list.
Exactly.
Coming in at number 60.
That's it.
Our film, our boy, our LA story, coming in at 60, LA Confidential.
That's right. And when I first revealed that I had this list, I told you it was number 9, which was incorrect.
You did.
Because I knew it was on the list.
That's a little insight into Bill's memory and what it's like to actually engage with Bill about things that are meaningful. He's about that percentage off, whatever that is.
Like 51. I'm 51 off or so on everything.
51 units.
Yeah, whatever
not
it
percent.
is. No, what units?
That is like you're in
the
87 to 91 percentile of being off. 9 versus 60.
And buy 51 units exactly of whatever it is we're talking about. So if it's a list, if it's gallons of gasoline, whatever, if it's sizes of a font, whatever it is, I'm off by 51 of that thing.
I mean, it's pretty close.
Yeah, I'm very consistent.
You're very consistently wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Consistently incorrect. Consistently infuriating.
And you were shocked that it was so high on the list.
I was.
Yeah.
Because I was imagining all these screenplays that I think are just dynamically good and exceptional, and not that LA Confidential isn't. It is. That's why we're sitting here. But 9 seemed very high.
Right, of every movie ever made. It sounded a little high.
It did. It seemed very high.
So when I said 60 to you, though, where?
Right. Seemed like it's right where it should have been.
Okay.
If you said 40 to 60, I'd have been like, anywhere in there makes so much sense.
Okay. But today we're going to look at some of the ones that are a little below it and some of the ones that are a little above it.
I love it.
And see if maybe it does move up the list a little bit.
Us two idiots are going to determine whether the script was better or worse, or roughly in the same plane, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Writers Guild of America West. will write us an angry letter, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, this list came out in 2006.
Bring it.
So it's a little old. So there may be newer movies.
That is old. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. There may be new, but I mean, what good movie came out since 2006? None.
According to you?
Period.
None.
No,
I know.
So let's not even bother.
You hate anything made in the last 15 years.
That's not true.
You do.
That's not true.
You hate it.
I just don't get to watch. I don't pursue them as much as I once did.
Okay.
As an old man.
You got to seek them out, man.
For instance, I just recently watched Oppenheimer.
Okay.
For the first time. So I'm like a year and a half behind on that.
I didn't love it, but it was worth watching.
I agree with you. Same here. Okay. Yeah, I didn't love it. It was worth a sit through.
I think we gotta watch the new ones.
Yeah.
We gotta.
But I want to watch, there's some coming up I want to see, like this Metropolis, the Francis Ford Coppola thing. Looks like a crazy movie.
Megalopolis. I saw it opening day at the theater.
What'd you think?
Terrible. Just literally the worst piece of garbage that maybe I've ever seen.
Wow.
And the argument I had with my friend who I went to see it with on the way back was this intentionally bad? Which it could have been, but my stance on that is that it was not.
Right.
It was not intentionally bad. It was a misstep by an old guy who can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
He lost his fastball.
Yeah.
It's fine. It happens to everyone.
Yep.
But it's a terrible, terrible, terrible cinematic experience. It's horrible.
Wow.
It's horrible.
That's amazing.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'm taking that off the list of things I want to see.
I'm dying for someone else to see.
But it is a love it or hate it kind of thing, which I've heard from other people. You know what I mean? But I do think Francis Ford Coppola has not made a good movie for a
very long time. Very long time.
Which is a shame because he was in his day. He was
this
fantastic.
One did feel like it could have been a hoorah. Though, a final,
exactly.
Here's everything I have learned and everything I can offer.
Exactly.
Oof.
But it wasn't. Ugh. Oh, well. So anyway, so we're going to look at this list and we're going to see where LA Confidential kind of sits and if we think it should be a little higher or whatever. I think we probably will land on that at the end, but let's go through and see what we think.
I love this premise. I love you for bringing it to the table. And I love how it contextualizes the film in a way that helps us talk about it better going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at the one right above it first. which is an old movie.
It Happened One Night.
I haven't seen it. You haven't seen it.
I have not.
It's a famous film. It's called It Happened One Night, and I think it was directed by Frank Capra, but I'm not 100% on that. Screenplay was written by Robert Riskin, based on the story Night Bus by Samuel Hopkins Adams. And it's a movie with Clark Gable and I can't remember her name, but it's a classic film. It won all 5 of the major Oscar categories at the Oscars that year.
Okay.
And it's a romantic comedy. It's fun. It's funny. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I would not want to watch that more than L.A. Confidential. I mean, I've seen L.A. Confidential dozens of times.
Certainly.
I've seen It Happen One Night zero times. So.
Zero. Yeah, I'm at like 786 to 0.
Yeah.
So like I think it's very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then let's look at 61.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll do the going downs. You'll do the going ups.
Okay.
How's that feel? Does that feel good?
Sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, if it doesn't feel good, say so I know what to expect.
It feels great.
Does it?
Yeah.
Do you mean it?
But if you want to change, but we can change that.
I mean,
at
I'll
any
have
time.
things to say about yours. You'll have things to say about mine. But in terms of like who's running the show, who's hosting who's saying the next thing, you got it?
I love it.
All right, I'm going down.
How do you guys feel about that? Silence. They don't care.
They don't
this
care.
Is great.
They're
This is
weighing
perfect.
in. Their silence is admission.
That's
Ooh,
right.
That's
Do
a
it.
bad. Nope. Nope. Take that back. Didn't. Zumbo is not. That is not something that is in Zumbo's heart in any way.
Did you just say that?
Lynn Bracken. I love Lynn Bracken. We'll get into that. 61, a movie I just watched very recently because it's a good holiday watch, The Silence of the Lamb.
And I love that movie.
Great screenplay.
Great screenplay. Tight.
Great movie.
Great movie.
It hits you in all the right spots.
But I think a large portion of what makes that movie so good.
Yeah.
Was while the screenplay is good.
No, for sure.
The performances are outstanding, and the direction is super sneaky good. Like you don't really notice it, but it is so well directed. That movie is just a brilliant masterclass in directing by the late great Jonathan Demme. It's a fantastic film.
I mean, there won't be another one like Jonathan Demme. Some time.
It's a really great screenplay, but not again. I think more so it's the performances and the direction that heighten that a little more than the screenplay itself.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I think that's 100% right on the money. I think if we are just looking at what's on the page, L.A. Confidential, the work it took to get L.A. Confidential to where it is, and the fact that it could exist as a thing that is just a story you read and it's great. I think it makes the screenplay better.
And I wonder, Silence of the Lambs is also a screenplay adapted from a novel,
right?
So, and I've never read the novel, so I can't speak to how close it is to the novel.
Right.
I imagine, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's pretty close because it was a big hit book, and I think they wanted to kind of keep it close to the vest there.
I would say that's true.
But again, taking a book and making it into a movie, it did a great job. It's a tremendous.
I said,
movie.
I think it's the best example that I can think of off the top of my head.
And while we're talking about performances, I have to throw in the guy who plays Jamie Gum, who is just phenomenal in that movie. He's the bad guy. He's the Ted. His name is Ted something.
Oh,
he's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
that guy's amazing.
Puts lotion on its skin. Ted McGinley.
No, Ted something, but he's amazing.
Ted Levine.
Yeah, Ted Levine. That's him. Yeah. Amazing.
No, he's
actor.
great.
Oh, and in that movie, he's
great. And he's been great in other things, like as an unidentifiable guy that's just a guy, and he's great.
He is great, and he elevates that movie too because he's so creepy in that movie.
If I may, imagine Ted McGinley for a second. It puts the lotion on its skin. I'm just saying, it's a fun image.
It is a fun image. Now you've brought up Ted McGinley.
Yeah, I have.
Does he deserve to go in our corrals?
I wouldn't know where to start with old Ted. No, that's not true. We could do it.
Who would they play? Who would they play?
John Hamm, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Heather Graham, the boys from Wham.
Who would they play? Who would they play?
Chris Pratt, Chow Yun-Fat, Benjamin Bratt, Oliver Platt.
Who would they play? Who would they play? Who would they play?
All right. It's nice that we have the jingle to think about where we would put him in a corral because it helps.
It does give us the time we need.
Yeah. And
that is all the time I needed.
I think I've got one too.
Okay.
I'm interested to see where
Are we doing this
landed.
3-2-1 thing again, or are
No.
we going Menza?
Let's do Mensa.
This is what are we gonna do? Eh? You listen to me? We do
Johnny.
a Mensa.
Johnny, yeah, I think Mensa will work.
This is
fine.
what are we gonna do? Okay.
Okay.
Are you listening to me?
You see.
Okay, this is what are we gonna do?
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to primo. I am gonna
See?
go with a primo.
Joe Secondo? I don't know how to say that in Italian.
Yeah,
so
it's Joe
went
Secondo.
Spanish.
No, you-
Good old Johnny Stompanato and Joe Secondo.
Joe Secondo. Yeah, get your primo and your secondo. You nailed it, buddy.
All right, go ahead.
I will have Mr. Ted McGinley play what I would have him play one Mr. Ellis Lowe.
Oh, that's clever.
Right?
That's thinking outside the box. I like that.
Yeah, they won't let me in the box, man. I've tried. They're like, no, man, no thanks.
Yeah. So just to rewind on Ted McGinley, in case people don't know
Yeah,
who
let's
he
tell
is.
them who he is. Yeah,
He was on Scrubs, right, on the TV show.
Yeah.
That he's known for that. I always think of him as in his bonkers performance in Seven as California.
Yeah.
Again, a bonkers character name too, but
Ridiculous.
He's called California, and he's the crazy SWAT guy who's like, "What's in the box? He's got a box.
Yep.
They've got a box. Somebody put a box in a box." He's just his whole Dix. You got to see this. He's just crazy in that movie. And
good though. Really creates tension in those scenes though.
He does,
Yeah.
and he's got this energy. Like he's got a really hyper energy. He's also great in Platoon.
Yes.
When he plays like the ass kissing.
That's right.
Guy who's friends with.
That's right.
The evil sergeant or whatever the hell he
That's
is.
him.
Yeah, he's great in that. He's been great in tons of stuff.
He has.
He's so good. So I just wanted to give a little context to the folks if they can picture who
That's
Ted
him.
McGinley
That's
is.
him. Those are the highlights, I would say. I think
they?
you nailed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
you killed it.
All right. I'm sure he's been in Office Space too. He's hilarious in Office Space.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
He can do comedy. He can do all kinds.
He really can do it all.
He's really funny.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him being Mr. Jack Vincennes, actually.
I mean, he is styly.
He is kind of
He
stylish
is
and
what
slimy, too.
we
a
call
little
in the
bit.
neighborhood where I come from styly.
Yeah, and a little slimy, too. He can be like a little slimy.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that totally working.
Okay.
I just, I mean, no offense to Mr. McGinley. It's just that's a lot to give to a McGinley. It's a lot to give to a Ted McGinley. You know what I mean?
I'm okay with that.
There's a lot going on there.
But now, if I'm remembering how we play, who will play correctly, we have to choose one and put him in that corral.
Yeah.
So we can't.
That's right.
We can't have a split vote.
There's no drifting.
Right. Exactly.
We just can't have a Ted McGinley.
Yeah, we can't have two Ted McGinleys running around. One is plenty.
No, that's right.
So we can't have two of them. So yes,
one of us has to acquiesce,
and we have to
and
talk
or
it out,
relent or argue correctly. Enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and your point is taken that maybe he works better in a smaller role.
I'm laying my
he's
case
a lot.
at too much for McGinley.
He can be a lot, you know?
resting. I rest here, Your Honor. No further questions.
You're out of order. This whole courtroom is out of order. See, I do that for free. I don't have to pay a cent for that. It's fantastic. And I still get my Pacino in there. And it's great.
I'm out of order. Been out of order for a long time. Not much work in here. I was out of order for a long time. And then I met Gail.
All right, so I will acquiesce and I say Ellis Lowe because Ellis Lowe is also a creepy, slimy kind of character.
Creepy. The worst. One of the worst people in this film.
Yeah, and he's by the way, he's
redemptive.
the district attorney, if you don't know.
The DA.
Played
Ellis
by
Lowe.
Ron Rifkin in
Ron
the movie.
Rifkin played very well.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely a political...
Oh, God, tell him to stop. Get him off me. No.
I don't know how.
Actually. Yeah, I don't know.
Great.
Yeah.
Because I could definitely see McGinley hanging out that window, screaming his head off.
No doubt,
You
right?
know?
Yeah.
That'd be great. So...
Well, thank you.
Head in a toilet
Thank
bowl.
you for seeing what I saw.
Yeah, I
appreciate that.
Yeah. No, that's great. So you Ted McGinley as Ellis Lowe.
McGinley is in the
it.
Ellis Lowe Corral. And, I imagine that's going to be one of the lower populated corrals.
It could be.
You know?
It could be. We'll
Like-
see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But,
I imagine, though.
yeah, he might just get it by default
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah, he might not be joined by anyone running against him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, let's move on to... I'm going to stay kind of close to the
Stay close.
the number
Skip
there,
as you need.
and then we'll skip up
Your
as
call.
we go
Yeah,
on.
of course.
But 58, so just two above LA Confidential on this list, is a great movie, but I'm not sure the screenplay is better. It's Ordinary People.
I think we can both agree great movie. Screenplay, definitely not better.
Great movie.
Definitely not better. Though.
Again, based on a novel, adapted from a novel.
Yep.
It's
Good screenplay.
directed by Robert Redford.
Yep.
And again, the performances, I think, are the thing that makes that movie so good.
This is Alvin Sargent, by the way.
Who wrote
the screenplay?
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, for me, it's the Timothy Hutton is great in that.
The performances. Yeah.
Donald Sutherland, always good. And Mary Tyler Moore, best thing she ever did. I mean, TV show, whatever, but she is fantastic in that movie. And it was great casting because she's playing sort of against type.
Right.
But she's like perfect.
Right.
It's a great movie. Heartbreaking movie. If you've never seen it,
tis.
Highly recommend it.
Tis. Really heart-rending film.
Great.
We'll get you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really good.
Family drama.
Really
fantastic.
good.
But I don't think the screenplay is better than LA Confidential.
I don't at all.
Yeah.
I don't at all. And maybe this is part because I know all the work that went into like taking this massive book, this LA Confidential, and making it like such a phenomenal screenplay. Like, I mean, it won awards. Like, we're not wrong. But I do think it, like, I don't know. It feels like both of those, which are above it, are not as good from a screenplay standpoint.
Yeah.
I would say.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But we're just two guys. What do
we're
we
just
know?
two guys. Well, we don't know anything. At 62 and 63, I'm going to say we got Moonstruck by the great playwright John Patrick Shanley. And it's a great film.
Great screenplay. Great scripts that it was born from. Great film. I love when a guy who wrote the play also wrote the screenplay. Like, that's obviously what you want. Well, this was written for the screen, Moonstruck, not based on a play.
Oh, right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But he has all that. He has all that stage stuff. Yeah.
And he'd written other films before.
Right.
Course,
exactly.
So.
Exactly. And Jaws. I mean, both I think are great movies, but neither screenplay I think stands out better than LA Confidential.
See, I have a tough time with Moonstruck. Jaws, I'll give you. Jaws is not about
Jaws
the screenplay.
Is not at all about the screenplay.
It's about
it's very
the direction.
Basic.
It's that's all Steven
Spielberg. The things
Spielberg.
that were written for that movie are like an eighth of what it does well.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not part of what it makes it great.
Yeah, the best parts of that movie are not written on the page.
Right.
Steven Spielberg created those moments.
Agreed.
With the images.
But,
you know what I mean?
But Moonstruck, you say, touche.
Yeah, Moonstruck, I would say,
script.
is the screenplay. Like, the screenplay is Moonstruck. You could recast that movie with anybody you wanted in all the parts.
Oh,
it's just as good.
Not my Cher.
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh,
for as good as Cher is.
How could you say it?
Whoa.
Whoa. I can't believe you said it, Bill.
Bill, what are you talking about, Bill?
It's a crazy notion. It's a crazy notion that you think anybody could do what I did.
Wait, that's somewhere, but I can't tell if that's Cher or Charles Barkley. I'm really not sure.
There's some vocal crossover there. Because Cher's like, Charles, I don't. Charles like, well, you look at here, Cher. You know, I've been trying to tell you.
Terrible.
That's terrible. What you did. Wearing what you did in that video, that was terrible. It was terrible. I saw that. I even tried it on.
You can turn back time. I don't want to see that again. But I think Moonstruck is the script. Like, that is
I agree.
The movie.
That's not the question
the
we're asking each other, though.
But that's what makes it great. So for me, is it better than LA Confidential?
That's what I'm asking you.
It's a tough one. That's a tough.
Okay.
I think that is it's a brilliant.
We're gonna just want you to weigh
screenplay.
in so we can move on. We want your take on this.
I might say Moonstruck is a better screenplay.
You would.
I might. Yeah,
fascinating.
I might.
Okay.
Because it is really, in my opinion, it's really good.
Oh, it is really good, and I haven't seen it in quite some time, so I might be like a prisoner of the moment.
Maybe.
Might be having some biases because I'm, you know.
What's also fascinating about it is it's a movie about Italians written by an Irish dude. And he nails it. Like, like throughout the whole thing.
He grew up in the neighborhoods, you know. There was warring factions.
Right.
So forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for an Irish guy, like, he just nailed the whole culture of Italian folks in New York. It's it's fantastic.
Agreed.
Yeah, I like that's a tough one for me. I mean, I'd have Moonstruck probably higher on this list anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Put it where you want it, bro.
56 I'm going to jump up to, which is an interesting one because I know you love this movie. And it is it's a groundbreaking screenplay.
Yeah.
It's written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale.
Yes.
It's Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Many call it a perfect movie.
Some do.
I don't disagree.
Yeah?
I do think it's perfect. That means the screenplay is also perfect, which means it's probably a little better than LA Confidential.
Oh, that's interesting.
But only a little bit.
Therefore, you like its position at 56.
I think it's appropriately placed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I like LA Confidential better, both as a screenplay.
I think today
and as a
I do
film.
too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up thinking Marty McFly was the motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like, I'm sorry. That is what it is. And it is a perfect movie. Like they're frame to frame to frame from beginning to end. Every bit of it makes sense. And it works, and it's satisfying. And I don't know. It just it's a proper film.
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis really is like a technical genius.
Yeah.
You know, like he does. Like Roger Rabbit is an unbelievable. Like, how did they ever do that in the first place? But as a technician, the way that he builds movies and does these, it's amazing.
Yeah,
He's
totally
amazing
amazing.
filmmaker.
Totally amazing.
But
you say L.A. Confidential is a better script.
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I do. Although I will give giving Back to the Future the credit, because good luck making a time travel movie today.
Yeah.
Like, since that movie came out,
Yeah.
and the other two that followed it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make a time travel movie after that.
Not a good one.
No, you can't. It's
You
been
really can't.
They destroyed it. You know,
Yeah.
they killed it so hard
Yeah.
that you really can't make a time travel movie after that.
It's true. We need some space in here before we tackle that genre again.
Yeah. In fact, I tried to watch a Guy Pearce movie just last night.
Ooh.
Time travel movie.
Ooh.
Which he did, called The Time Machine.
Time Machine. Yeah, I
The
saw
remake.
this.
Oh, you saw it.
I
The
did.
remake of The Time Machine from 1950 whatever with Rod Taylor, which I love that movie.
Oh, you do? I never saw that
Oh,
one.
it's great.
No, I never saw it.
It's great. And very more truthful to the novel,
Word.
H.G. Wells, than
Yeah.
this garbage that Guy Pearce found himself in.
It was garbage.
It is horrible.
It's
I
not
made
great.
it about 20 minutes in, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't think I made it much further.
When his girlfriend died the second time, he went back in time. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, man.
This is dumb.
These Aussies, their careers are baffling.
And what was he doing in that movie? Like, he's so good in L.A. Confidential. In this movie, he's just horrible.
And he's been so good in other things.
Yeah, Memento.
And
I mean,
then,
so
but
many
he's also
things.
been terrible and stuff.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's crazy.
It's really weird.
It's
but
crazy.
anyway, yeah, that was... Ugh.
Maybe he needs a Chris Hansen, you know?
That could be.
You know what I mean?
God,
So, but you're saying, I'm saying this is appropriately placed. You're saying it is not.
Yeah, I'd put
you
it
would
a little
maybe
lower.
swap places.
Yeah, maybe swap places.
Okay,
That'd
that's
be fair. Okay.
That's totally fair.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, there's so many great movies in here that
I
I
know.
just got to run them down. But like,
Do it.
Like Terms of Endearment.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
I'm gonna run through the next four if that's cool. With
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Terms of Endearment's a great movie. I think L.A. Confidential is a better script. It might just be the subject matter that I'm deferring to here, but I just think L.A. Confidential is a more solid storytelling endeavor. Singing in the Rain, also great. The screenplay is not what makes it great.
Yes.
You know
Agreed.
what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah. Jerry Maguire is great.
Yeah.
I love it. Its screenplay is definitely not as good as L.A. Confidential.
No, but I think the screenplay is what makes it good. I think the story
It's
is
well
the most
written.
interesting thing about it.
It's super well written. I love Cameron Crowe. I love everything that guy does. Like he nails it every time, and he tells these like really open-hearted stories that have like they have like a real ballast to them, and they get through the choppy waters really well, and like they do a lot of stuff well. But it's not as good as LA Confidential. I think it's I think it's right. I think 66 is right.
Yeah.
That feels right for this film. And the same with the next two, E.T. and Star Wars. Like, I'll stop there. But like, those are two like landmark movies on the American movie landscape.
Yep.
Like huge blips in like what got people to the theater and what made money and record breaking and innovative filmmaking and all that stuff. If you're handing screenplays to me, I'm wiping my ass with Star Wars and E.T. I'm like interested in, but like L.A. Confidential I'm invested in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
those last two for sure. Again, the movie is not driven by the screenplay in either of those two.
Right.
Although the story of E.T. is great. And very clever.
No, it is great.
You know,
it is great and
very
it's clever,
heartwarming.
Absolutely.
But that's not the thing that makes it great. It's
Agreed.
the direction.
Yeah.
The character design of E.T. is really great.
Yep.
Deborah Winger performing as E.T. in the movie is great. The kids are unbelievable in that movie.
Yeah, you got your Henry Thomas and your Barrymore.
Yeah,
they're
great.
killing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Killing it. I love Henry Thomas. Loved him since that moment.
Dee Wallace Stone is great in that movie.
I don't know who that is.
She's the mom. She plays the mom.
Dee Wallace Stone is great. Yeah, she is great. Yeah.
I met her once at LAX. She was
You
getting
met her?
She was getting on the same plane as me, and I recognized her. It was recent,
Were
so
you
she was
like
much
Dee
older.
Wallace?
I was like, Dee Wallace Stone. What are you doing on my flight?
For those of you that don't know, Bill is like he'll just walk up to any celebrity and pretend that they are long lost friends. He has no shame in that respect. It's pretty impressive to see.
They love it too. I have to say, they absolutely love it.
No, it really is. It's impressive.
E.T. is great, but it's not driven by the screenplay. And Star Wars, of course, is the spectacle. The spectacle is what makes that movie.
Yeah.
Has nothing.
It's the weird edges that make that movie great.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the screenplay.
It's definitely not the dialogue. That's for fucking sure.
No, absolutely not. Okay, cool. All right, so we agree on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to you, buddy.
Back to me. Let me see what's above here.
Yeah, why don't you scroll on up there?
Yeah. So
See what it is.
I'm going to point out one.
Why don't you lose the glasses, son? I don't know a single
Somebody's
man in
looking
the
at me
department
trying
who
to read
wears
under
them.
my glasses. Okay.
So many people want Ed Exley to not wear glasses in that movie and it's so funny.
Yeah.
That is so funny, right?
It's in the book too. They do the same thing.
Yeah,
in
they
the
do.
book.
No, yeah, it's something they lifted from the book and pulled off really well. I think there's like 3 or 4 references to him and his glasses, and like he shows up at the fucking shootout and he doesn't have his glasses.
Just don't shoot me.
And Jack Vincenzo's like, well, just don't shoot me.
Right.
So good.
I think I should write that down as in a future episode we could talk, because I think there are things about each character that they point out as a weakness, and then they draw them out throughout the thing. Like for Exley, it's the glasses.
For sure.
For Bud, it's that he's dumb.
That's right.
I don't know what it is for
he's
Vincenzo,
not as dumb as I thought he was.
Exactly.
That happens a bunch in that movie.
Yeah. So anyway,
you're underestimating Bud. You love it. You love when I do Lynn Bracken.
I do. Well, what can I say? All right. Let's look at 53, All the President's Men.
Okay, great fucking movie.
Great fucking movie. This was like a balm for me for some reason. I will watch this movie if I'm feeling especially down.
Okay.
I watch it.
I have
and it
those
helps
films.
me.
I mean, LA Confidential is one of those films, but I have those films for sure.
Yeah, but for some reason, this one kind of perks me up a little bit.
Word.
Inspires me a little bit. It's a great
Written
movie.
by the great William Goldman.
And this guy, I don't know how many times he's on this list, but I know he's on
bunch.
here at least 3 times.
A bunch.
And if you don't know the screenplays of William Goldman,
he
is one of the best ever.
One of the best ever. Agreed.
And this screenplay...
And apparently can do it in his sleep.
Yeah.
Do it with his eyes closed.
Exactly.
Doesn't need much.
And this screenplay, especially because it's based on a nonfiction book that must be super dry.
Right.
Written by Woodward and Bernstein.
Right.
All about reporters and shit. You know, and it's like how he took that and made it into a compelling, thriller.
Right.
It's a really impressive. No small task. Very impressive thing that he did.
For sure.
Do you want to tell that story about William Goldman you were talking about earlier?
Well, to run down a few of his greats that he took credit for.
Yeah. So
and then I'll tell you the story that I know.
He also wrote the Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Which is a great
amazing.
I think that's on this list
it's
somewhere.
It's got to be. It should be.
Because it's a great screenplay.
Amazing.
And that movie really is.
One of the greatest ever.
Yeah, it really is. The screenplay drives that thing.
100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
so clever, so fun. It's so great.
Yeah. Carrie Elways a dime a dozen. I'd go down to the corner right now and get you 10 Carrie Elwayses. That's not what made that movie great.
Yeah, exactly. And what else?
I get you a dozen Carrie Elwayses, probably for the same price if I go to the right corner.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Butch Cassidy
is another great movie he wrote.
All right, here's what I've heard about William Goldman.
Okay.
All right, so we had worked with a young Matt Damon at some point, and Matt Damon had shared with him the script that him and his buddy Ben were working on. And it was like bafflingly bad. Like it was about a genius, but a genius who was like also like a kind of a superhero
and a janitor at the same time.
A janitor, and it had this weird like. Then he became a super spy element to it, and William Goldman looked at it. Apparently, this is the story now. I don't know. I'm a guy. What do I know? But William Goldman looked at it, was like, "There's a story in here, and I'd like to help you tell it, but." You're going to have to let me rework it. And they did. And he said he didn't want to take credit for it. He said it was just a favor to Matt and Ben. So I think we can add Good Will Hunting to the list of William Goldman award winners.
Yeah.
Because it has his shit all over it. Like when you watch it, it does feel like one of his films.
Yep.
And he just wasn't interested in taking the credit for it because he didn't start it. It was like the spark didn't start with him.
Yeah.
But he like made it everything that we talk about. That it's being a good movie and so forth.
That's a pro. You know what I mean? That's a guy who knows how to
no doubt
make a movie on the page.
You give him
you know
anything,
I mean? Yeah,
and he'll make it a workable movie.
Yeah, make it a great movie.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
It's crazy.
So if you ever are looking for movies, just look up William Goldman.
Well, you watch all the William Goldman.
Yeah, because they're amazing.
They really are. They really are. That's great. So are we saying that's a better screenplay? I think we are.
I don't know.
I think we are, and I think I'm okay if we are.
Yeah, it's tough because the movie itself is so different. Like it's not structured like a standard movie screenplay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like LA Confidential also is not. It is kind of structured like a regular movie, but it's not not in a traditional sense. But I don't know. All the President's Men is just so far away from what you think of as a regular. It's not a Marvel movie. Every Marvel movie has the same
for
exact
sure,
structure.
and thank God for that.
Yeah, and All the President's Men just plays out in such a different fashion,
right? That
it's fascinating to me. So yeah, I would say it's probably better than LA Confidential.
It's a little better, yeah. If you're asking me, gun to my head,
Yeah.
If you're asking me,
I'm asking you.
If Bud White's working me over at the Victory Motel, and I'm trying to give an answer, that's the one I'm going to give.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, all right. And you learn to pull your punches. That's a Danny DeVito. All right, I got to talk real quick about Dog Day Afternoon just because it's a fucking great movie, and I think as a movie it might be a little better than LA Confidential. It's certainly one I've seen almost as many times, and it's something I derive great joy in. Mm-hmm. I think it's a phenomenal movie.
Great movie.
I don't know that I would think the screenplay is better though. If I read it, I think it gets a little bananas at the end. I think it gets like if I'm just reading the screenplay and I'm having to sort of create a story based on it, I think LA Confidential is a better screenplay.
Yeah, it's a little unwieldy.
Yeah, that's well said.
Because it goes off in strange directions.
It
like
really does.
When his boyfriend comes, it gets
a little
on the phone.
whacked out.
Yeah, as great as Chris Sarandon is in that scene.
Really great.
You're like, what is happening?
And it's perfectly odd. It is perfectly odd.
Yes.
It really works, but it is odd, and it is wait, what's going on?
Yeah. When he calls his wife, that scene too is just bonkers.
Yeah.
But it's
completely
fantastic.
Bonkers. It is fantastic.
But the script kind of just kind of wanders around a little bit while they're stuck in the bank.
It does a little bit. Yeah.
But it's a great movie.
It is.
But yeah, I'd rather watch LA Confidential.
And properly placed, I think, on this list.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So here's one, you never saw this. Maybe I'll skip it, but it is a really great movie, which is Schindler's List.
Don't tell everyone I haven't seen it and then say you're going to skip it.
Schindler's List at 49.
You know what I mean?
I know. I shouldn't have done that.
What are you going to do? You're going to put me on blast and then say I don't want to even talk about this?
I'm putting it out there now.
Zumbo's an anti-Semitic guy, guys, but let's move on. No, I haven't seen it because I haven't seen it. I just have a dark spot there.
Yeah, well, it's hard to watch.
Yeah,
I will tell
you have to be in the mood, right?
Absolutely.
Certainly, I've had time to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I've rewatched LA Confidential 712 times.
You gotta
one
go
and
in.
a half of those could have been Schindler's List.
Yeah, but you got to go in with a box of tissues on the arm of the sofa.
Yeah, I know what it's going to do to me, and I think
exactly.
I'm avoiding that.
Yeah, it's going to wreck you for sure.
Totally.
I remember when I went to see it the first time, I went by myself.
Yeah.
And I sat, like I do sometimes, very close to the screen in the movie theater.
I like doing that too, buddy, especially when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there by myself, nobody, around me, and I'm just sobbing.
You're sobbing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would be too.
It's heart-wrenching. It's really hard. Is the screenplay better, though? That's a tough one. It is a really good screenplay.
Well, having not seen it, I let you speak to this.
There's some great characters in it. I mean, Schindler himself is a great character.
Right.
Itzhak Stern, who's played by Ben Kingsley, is a great character.
I didn't know Ben Kingsley was even in that.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
How about it?
Oh, my God, he's so good. And then Ray Fiennes.
I know about Rafe and Liam, obviously.
A Nazi colonel or whatever he is. And he's amazing, too, because his character is just fantastic.
By the way, that guy's great.
Ray Fiennes?
I just watched 3 movies that he was in the last couple of weeks. He's so fucking good.
Yeah, he is good.
He's so fucking good. I saw The Conclave.
Oh, did you see that?
Fucking great.
Is it good? I want to see that.
Oh my God, it's so good, Bill.
I love this movie.
It's one of the best movies I've seen in 5 years.
Wow.
It's really good.
You know what I like about it is that they're marketing it specifically to old people, which is what I love about it. They're like, do you like movies about popes?
Well, guess what? Guess what old guy went to see it?
You, and you loved it.
This guy, and I loved it.
I want to see it too.
I did. I loved it. It was great.
And I can't tell if it's the marketing and I'm old.
No, it's good.
But it's actually really good.
It's a really great movie.
Yeah, I got to see that.
Beautiful. That's why I went to see it in the theater because it's beautiful.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do we have to cast Ray Fiennes now?
Ooh, can we?
I think we can.
Yes.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Who would they play? Who would they play?
Gal Gadot, Russell Crowe, Margaret Cho, John Favreau.
Who would they play? Who would they play?
Clancy Brown, Rose McGowan, Hugh Downs, Carl Anthony Towns.
Who would they play? Who would they play? Who would they play?
Carl Anthony Towns syllabically hearing you try to mash that into the beat is hilarious to me.
Boy, he's got a new lease on life, huh? With the
Carl
Knicks?
Anthony Towns, he's
Holy
really
shit.
balling up there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
Knicks
God.
look good.
Yeah, they do. It's scary. Okay, Rafe Fiennes.
Yeah.
Great actor. Has been in so many things.
movies.
Schindler's List was
I
one of his
mean-
first big hits. Now he does a lot of those like movies where he's a tough guy sometimes. No, that's not him. That's Liam Neeson.
No, that's
Sorry,
Liam
get him
Neeson. Yeah,
confused.
he's played a tough guy here and there, but usually doesn't.
Yeah.
Red Dragon, he was obviously the
bad guy in
the
Red
real,
Dragon?
the real bad guy.
Yeah.
But I just watched a movie called The Dig where he plays this sort of aging archaeologist, and he's genius.
Yep.
It's like it's him alone in a dirt pit. And you're like, God damn, this guy can act. And you're just like happy to be watching it. It's so good.
Well, I remember when Schindler's List first came out, I remember talking to a young lady, a friend of mine who's Jewish, and she was like, I couldn't believe while watching the movie that I was sexually attracted to a Nazi. Like that was her take on his character.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah. And,
that is one handsome man.
And his character is abhorrent in the movie. Like he's awful. Besides being a Nazi, that away.
I do find that maybe this says more about me than it does about anything, but I feel like sexual attraction is sort of separate from good-heartedness. I really do. I mean, I know a lot of people combine them.
Yeah.
And probably rightfully so. That's probably a healthier mind that does that. But I do think, and I think we all have these people that are like reprehensible to us on one level, but also like we think about maybe
attractive.
getting down with them a little bit.
For sure. But that struck me as something that told me Ray Fiennes is an actor of a certain caliber.
I agree with that.
Who can pull that off.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Know?
Yeah,
So,
no, he's great.
Yeah, he is great.
He has a magnetism for sure.
Yeah. And he does a lot of Shakespeare too. I don't know if I saw him do Julius Caesar in the movie theater. They did that, and he was great.
Oh, I would love to see
no,
that.
it wasn't Julius Caesar. It was Caesar and Cleopatra. Sorry, but he played Julius Caesar. Oh, no, he played Anthony. That's right. Sorry. I'm so confused.
And you were
on
all
history.
over the place.
But he's great. Does a lot of Shakespeare, and he's really good.
I'm cutting you off. No, I have no doubt. I like in my head over the last couple years, I've developed this idea that he has an incredible range and a command of his instrument that is like it's beyond what a lot of guys can get to.
But if I could pick out one movie for me, Quiz Show.
I mean, he's fucking great in that.
Yeah, he is. He's great.
Fucking great in that.
I love him in that.
I love that movie too.
Me
I love
too.
Rob Morrow.
Yeah, it's all good.
What happened to Rob Morrow?
Don't know. His eyebrows grew out so far he couldn't work anymore. I don't know.
I love that guy. I did love that
He's
guy.
great.
He was a bit of a hero of mine.
He's great. But where are we putting old Rafe?
Ralphie
boy. Hey, Ralphie boy.
Hey, Ralphie boy.
That's a tough one.
It really is. I think I mean, I think he's one of the big three for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's like McHale, Parrish, or Bird. Oh, now I have to know which one of those is which one of our guys. Oh, that's so much fun.
We'll leave that for another.
But do we have to? Because that's all I can think about right now. Okay, no, I'll stop. I'll move on.
Okay.
He's one of the big three for me.
Okay.
And I think if you were, if Bud White was beating me to get an answer out of me, I think I'd want him to be. I think he'd make a great Jack Vincennes.
I agree.
Yeah,
that was my gut.
That's what you were thinking
my gut too of Vincennes. Yeah. I think he'd be great because he has that sort of understated kind of thing that he can do. You know,
he can really pull off a suaveness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. He can be kind of funny. I don't know if you've seen.
He can be very funny.
You know what he's funny in?
I've seen him be hilarious.
Yeah, he's very funny in Hail Caesar.
Yeah, he is. I mean, that whole movie is great.
Yeah,
and he's great in it.
Yeah,
he's also great. There's a run of Netflix like Roald Dahl films that he made recently, and he's hilarious in some of them. They're really good. They're on Netflix.
Budapest Hotel. He's hilarious
Grand
in that.
Budapest Hotel.
So
one of my
good
favorites.
Yeah, he's great.
I love it.
Anyway, but yeah, I'll go Vincennes.
You would?
For me. Yeah, for sure.
That was easy.
Yeah, it was.
Look at us.
Hey.
We're locked in, baby. You and I.
3 episodes in.
We're locked in.
Not even 2.5.
Booby.
And we are on it.
2.5. We already got it. All right, Ray Fiennes.
Done.
Am I up? Who's up next?
Yeah,
I'm going down. I'm going low.
You're up because I was doing Schindler.
All right, I'm going low. Okay, what do we
you
got?
go low, I go high.
That's right. I go low road. You go high road.
Michelle Obama.
I'm skipping a few. I'm looking at Being John Malkovich. Again, the thing that makes this movie great is not the screenplay necessarily.
Ooh.
Though it is born of an idea, a concept that is beautiful and works really well.
Yep.
But I don't think what's on the page is necessarily like supremely crafted.
Interesting.
I think the idea is hilarious and thought provoking and all that stuff. But I'd say that's appropriately placed.
I mean, Charlie Kaufman is like a god to me. Like that guy.
Me too.
That guy has an imagination.
Adaptation, which is further down on this list.
Love that movie.
Just to buy a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what do you think is better between Being John Malkovich and Adaptation?
Adaptation.
Okay. Well, it's lower than Being John Malkovich, but only by like 3.
Okay. I think Adaptation's a better screenplay, actually.
I think so too. I was going to talk about that one next. I think that's a bet. And let's just jump to that one because I don't care, because we're missing Raging Bull in there. I don't give a fuck about that movie. But Adaptation is, I think, pretty close to LA Confidential in terms of its screenplay worth.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great screenplay.
It's really a great screenplay.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it covers so much. Like you forget like all the stuff, like in the very beginning, there's a montage where it's like the beginning of the world, and he covers all this stuff about life and evolution, which is adaptation and evolving. And
so fucking good.
He's so brilliant. The whole thing is just amazing.
I agree.
It's a parody of itself. It's just such a well layered.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to that thing.
It is.
It's great.
Did you see Anomalisa?
Yes.
Did you like it?
It's fucked up.
It is fucked up. Did you like it though?
It made me it really got me in the feels. You know what I mean? Like I was confused.
It'll get you.
Yeah, I was confused for a lot of it. but it got me. You know what I mean? It was really.
Yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, the puppet sex was a little,
the last one I saw, but I loved it.
I really loved it. It's great. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So
it's a beautiful movie.
Okay.
Highly recommend.
I'm glad you liked it.
Okay, I'm going to give you a bunch here to look at.
Let's burn through a few.
So this is 38 through 42.
Oh, I see 38 and I love it.
Okay, and this is a bunch. So we got American Beauty, followed by The Sting,
Better,
When Harry Met Sally, Goodfellas, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, that's a bunch.
They're all really great.
They are all really great.
They're all really great.
And they're all really great screenplays.
This is a tough one.
Goodfellas was, again, adapted from a nonfiction book, which I have to imagine is really hard to do.
Gotta be.
But they did have the benefit of having the actual person
he was right
involved
there.
in it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. He was right there.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are just American Beauty is so well written. It's just.
I mean that's the one on the list that stood out to me as like having a screenplay that rivals LA Confidential.
Yeah, I think it's better actually because it's just so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depth there.
Yeah, there really
is. Really nails. It really destroys sort of the whole American.
God damn it! And
our
pasty doughy bastard is in there.
Yeah,
just killing it, like. Killing it.
He is.
He's so good in that movie. I love him so much in that movie.
That was one of his big ones for sure.
It was one of them. I mean, and he starts that movie a little pasty, a little doughy, and a little bastardy. and then he gets all toned down.
Can we do it?
Yeah,
since you said it 2 times.
I think we got it.
I think we have to.
Pasty doughy bastard makes his mama cry. Pasty doughy bastard. Pasty doughy guy.
There you go. We're just reusing so much material. It's fantastic.
Doughy guy. I love it.
But you're right. He gets worked out, and towards the end of the movie, he gets all buff and everything. And
he says, "I just want to look good with my shirt off." Something like that. Yeah,
great. It's so it nails middle age too.
That's
it's
okay.
It's so
I
good.
wouldn't remember me either.
It's
so good. I've used that line. I love it.
That's so good.
He's really good.
Yeah, that's like a all-time screenplay for me. It's really good.
I guess my only thing right here is like it's better, but I don't know if it's that much better. I don't know if it's 22 better.
Okay.
Or whatever
That's
it is.
fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'd move. If I'd move American Beauty down or move LA Confidential up, but
I'd move LA Confidential up.
Yeah, I think that's
American
what I would
Beauty's
do too.
so
Yeah.
good.
I think you're right about that.
Like The Sting, I love The Sting.
Great.
But I don't think it's as great a screenplay as LA Confidential.
I don't either.
I think LA Confidential is like twice as complicated. Complicated as The Sting is.
Yeah.
I think LA Confidential is 2 times as complicated in terms of the story and the twists and turns that happen.
No question.
Yeah.
There are like 10 subplots that have to be like tied up and worked into the major thread. And it's done so well.
Yep. When Harry Met Sally, I love it. It's a great movie.
I love Nora Ephron. Those movies are great.
Terrific,
she's great. That movie's great.
Yeah, but it's not better.
It's not better. No, it's not better.
It's the chemistry.
It's really good.
But it's the chemistry between those 2 actors that makes that movie work.
It is. And I think the chemistry was sort of sparked with the dialogue, which is really great.
Dialogue is great.
And then they built on that.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't call it better.
And then Raiders. is a great
which I just
screenplay.
rewatched, obviously,
And it's
because we rewatched it a bunch.
It's a great screenplay. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
classic. You know, if I remember, we talked about this before. I remember going to see it with my dad when it first came out. We went to the
Same.
theater. Yeah, and it was
we did
just
too. Me and my
such-
brother and my
such
dad.
an experience that I'll never forget. You know what I mean?
Same.
And he talked about how it took him back to the old movie serials he used to watch when he was a kid. And so I think that authenticity of genre that they nailed
Yeah,
is like something that really stands in its favor.
I agree, but I also think and I think it's well written and it's clever at times, but I think it stands on its set pieces,
Yeah.
and it should, because they're really great.
Yep.
It stands on its direction and its action set pieces, and I think the script is fine.
Yeah.
But I don't want to read that more than I'd want to read what's happening in LA Confidential.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Raiders of the Lost Ark is an action movie and really nothing more. You know,
Yeah.
there's no deep themes there to explore or anything
Yeah.
like that. So
Right.
yeah, I'd say LA Confidential is better for sure.
Okay. We're killing it, buddy.
We are too.
We're killing it. I'm moving down. I'm moving
Do
way
it.
down.
Do it.
So I skipped that. We got to adaptation. Okay, Rocky, written by Sly Stallone.
Yep.
Look, I got this movie. I don't know.
I was waiting for him to show up.
We could talk about maybe I'd have to be in it. You know, that's the way I wrote it with myself in mind. I don't know if you wanted to get into that with me. Or we could. You know, we could talk about it if you want.
If I want to do what? I missed a lot of that mumbling. Was hard to follow. Are you saying, Sly, that you want us to what?
I think it deserves to be higher than 78. I think it's a great screenplay.
You do, yeah. I know you love it.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
It is,
It's fucking beautiful.
and it changed movies forever. Like he defined a new genre of sports.
He
sports
did.
Movies,
Well, him
you know what I mean?
and Advelson for sure. But we're talking about screenplays, right? And that moment where he yells at Mickey and then Mickey walks away and he pounded on the wall and he's still talking to Mickey, but Mickey's not there. Like it is one of the most beautiful scenes to me.
It's great.
He's yeah, it sucks. This whole fucking place sucks. I suck, suck, no fucking good. It brings me to tears every time I watch it. And I don't know. There's something about it. There's something about that whole screenplay.
Yeah.
And that yelling for Adrian at the end is he wrote one word, but God damn it.
Classic.
It's classic.
It's classic. It really is.
I'd
You know
have
what
it
I mean?
higher than this
Yeah.
on this list.
I don't know if I put it past LA Confidential. I think LA Confidential.
I think it's right
better,
there. I think it's right there. Maybe a little under. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I also think it's Sly Stallone. It's not like he's suffering from it not being a writer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's now he's a punchline. So it's harder to list him as
yes.
something that's valuable.
Hindsight makes it hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do think a lot of that movie is carried by him, by his performance and Burgess Meredith's performance.
Well, he was absolutely right to say I got to be the one playing this character.
Yeah.
And when you read about all the other guys they were thinking about, you're like, what?
Jimmy Stewart. He was 78.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly stuff like that. It's great. It's like De Niro because he played Raging Bull, and it's the craziest choices.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely not as good as LA Confidential, but maybe it should be higher up in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd put it above Raging Bull and Amadeus and Thelma and Louise. I would put it above all these movies.
Ooh, Amadeus is a tough one.
Amadeus is good.
I love Amadeus.
Yeah, but I'm a Philadelphian. What do you
That's
want
right.
from me?
Yeah, that's
you know what I
right.
mean?
You can't
what am I
help it.
supposed to do?
It's in your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. All right, I got a trio of sort of crime movies
Here we
for you
go.
here now. We got Fargo at 32.
Great.
At 33, The Third Man, which is an old movie.
I don't know it.
It's great.
Okay.
And then at 35, The Usual Suspects, which is a really good movie too. So these are tough ones. I mean, let's do The Third Man first, since you're not as familiar with that.
Get into The Third Man.
So The Third Man is a movie starred Joseph Cotton
And that's at 33, The Third Man. That's a fun
That
little
works,
bit
33
of
and a third.
fun little bit of
Monkeys.
Well, that's why I pointed it out.
I love that.
You get it?
Yeah, I love that.
All right.
That's great.
Sweet.
Anyway, so Joseph Cotton and Orson Welles are in this movie, and it's a very, I would say it's not the screenplay that makes this movie great. It's sort of the vibe and the location. It takes place in Vienna after World War II.
Word.
And it's beautiful to look at, and the music, the score is this bizarre balalaika music that's kind of pervades the whole thing. It's a fascinating
I like
movie.
when you put a little pepper on your pronunciation.
Do you like that?
I do. I like it a lot. I want you to keep doing it.
It's fascinating.
Say the kind of music again.
Balalaika.
Balalaika.
And it's a really interesting movie if you haven't seen it. But I don't think the screenplay is better than L.A. Confidential. It is a mystery, and the sort of detective. I'm putting quotes around detective Joseph Cotton because he's trying to figure out this mystery as a reporter trying to find this missing guy. And so it has a very interesting story, but I think it's the direction and just the vibe of the movie more than the screenplay that makes it great.
Okay.
So, what about?
I love that assessment.
What about Fargo and Usual Suspects?
Yeah, I mean, I think The Usual Suspects has it's got a lot of sheen on it.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people thought it was amazing when it really was just kind of cool, but it had this really big bow on it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's great. It's a great film. It's a fun film, but it's not half the effort that L.A. Confidential is, in my opinion.
Right.
In terms of effort.
I don't know. It's very complicated, but the thing is
it's not that complicated,
right?
But it presents as something that's super complicated.
Right.
That's what I mean.
It feels like a gimmick.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
When you've seen
thank
it,
you. That's
when you've
the
seen
word.
it more than twice, you're like, oh, okay.
Yes, that's the word.
It kind of pales.
It's a gimmick
a little bit each time you see it.
Let's assume rewatchability is part of this.
Yep.
I've maybe rewatched that twice.
Yep.
I mean, it just doesn't. When Verbal Kent is, you know what I mean?
Right,
It doesn't.
right, exactly.
It just doesn't. I don't know. I don't think it's great. In the same way, I don't think The Sixth Sense is great. I think it just has this wow factor that people
Yes.
then go oh my god.
Yes. Yes. I get you.
Yeah. Okay. So it's that for me.
It's that getting the rug pulled out from under you thing that only works one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
put L.A. Confidential above Usual Suspects.
Okay.
Fargo, on the other hand,
Yes.
is maybe as good as they get.
It really is.
In terms of screenplays.
It really is.
I don't know how there's 31 better than it, and I do think it's a better script than L.A. Confidential.
And it starts for me on the first frame when they put up on the screen that it's a real story that happened in real life.
Yeah.
When it isn't.
Yeah.
Like that to me, if you have the balls to do that,
I mean, they do.
You win.
They
I'm sorry.
absolutely do,
I can't argue with that.
And no one ever did that before.
No,
which
it's just amazing.
It's just so baffling.
It's so great.
And amazing.
It's so great.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of these filmmakers we're talking about, all these writers and all these directors, the Coen brothers are up here.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then there's 1,000 miles of nonsense, and then there's everyone else.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know
it's
what
true.
I mean?
It's true. And I think the other thing about Fargo, which I would say, part of it is the performances and the direction because they're playing such a specific brand of characters, these Midwestern people and everything.
Uh-huh.
But that's in the script.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
not like anybody's ad-libbing all that
Right.
stuff. That's
Right.
in there. And those guys are from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So they know these people.
They do.
And so it's all of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
And
hard to separate the script from the rest of that movie.
For sure.
Because the way they made it, like I said, is all of a thing. It's really them. You
For
know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we are in
that's good.
agreement.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Fargo. Phenomenal.
Terrific.
All right, so what was the last one I did? I'm going to skip ahead to 82, only because we talked about it briefly already today. Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great film.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a decent screenplay.
Yeah.
But 82 seems right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely not
It's definitely
better
not better
than
than LA Confidential.
No, no.
Yeah. Rear Window, same thing.
Yeah.
Great
yeah.
screenplay.
But that's the direction that makes that thing work. They built that whole set and,
Yeah.
and it's just all taken place from the point of view of Jimmy Stewart's character. I mean,
Right.
it's all just
Right.
the way it was done is brilliant.
Right. And then The Princess Bride, to round out the Goldman talk.
Oh.
It's at 84, which
Now, see, I'd put that higher.
I think it suffers because it's a comedy, right? That's what,
Yeah.
a lot of what happens here is
And
if
it's
it
like
doesn't touch the human spirit shit, then it
Right,
doesn't.
right.
It's not as valuable.
And it's silly, and it's kind of like
It
a
is,
kid's
but
film.
man, it's so warming and so kind of perfect.
And the quality of the writing is so good.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was adapted, I believe, from his own novel. Is that right? Did
Yeah,
he
that's
also
right.
write the novel
That's
too?
right.
So it's
Yeah,
like
based on
it wasn't
his
like
novel.
it wasn't like Goldman took someone else's novel and
No.
just copied and pasted all the dialogue.
No.
He wrote
Even
all
though he
that shit.
could've.
Yeah, he wrote all that shit.
wrote
and it's
everything.
so good.
From the idea down to the dialogue.
Yeah,
he
it's-
wrote every stitch of it.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
I'd put it higher on the list if it were me. So, for example, I have
Higher than 84. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I have, for example, 25 here on my end is Wizard of Oz. I would flip-flop those. I'd put Wizard of Oz down at 84 and put Princess Bride at 25.
I think Princess Bride deserves to be way higher. But in the terms of our guy, where you think it's better.
Yeah.
You would put it at 25.
Yeah. And
Fascinating.
LA Confidential, too. I don't think Wizard of Oz It's a great movie.
Well, that's what I'm asking about. How does it compare to L.A. Confidential? Like, you would put L.A. Confidential at 25 and swap it with Wizard of Oz?
I definitely put Wizard of Oz
at 60.
way lower than 60.
I think I would too.
I mean, it's a great movie, but it's not the screenplay that makes it good.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't disagree. How many ways can I say that? Are you good?
I mean, yeah.
Did you do your run?
I'll do one more that I don't think is not as good.
Great.
Groundhog Day is 27.
Okay.
Again, it's a fun movie. It's really good. Good idea. Great idea.
I guess that's the thing, right? That's what it's hanging its 27 hat on.
Is the idea. And
no one has ever really done that before.
Right.
And now they've done it a few times.
Yeah.
To various acclaim.
Exactly. There's that Tom Cruise movie.
Tom Cruise movie does it well, I think.
Written by my good friend Jez Butterworth.
Oh, that's a Jez Butterworth. Yeah,
it is.
I think you told me that before.
And I still haven't
Day
seen
After
it.
Tomorrow or whatever. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eternity. I don't remember what it's called.
Live, Die, Repeat is what they called it on the box.
That's
but it's also got a different name. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But Groundhog Day is fine. It's a good screenplay, but it's not better than L.A. Confidential by a mile.
Right. I agree with that.
Okay.
I totally agree with that. Okay. There's a few I got to get in here before we quit doing this. Field of Dreams, which I think is a phenomenal screenplay.
It is.
I always have thought that. It deserves way higher than 88.
Yes,
and
sure.
Probably right around L.A. Confidential, probably in the mid 60s is where I would want to put that one.
Yep.
Just want to call that out there. It's a phenomenal screenplay.
It is.
And then you got your Forrest Gump, which is, it's a thing. It's Forrest Gump is a thing.
Yeah.
It's
another Bob Zemeckis film.
Probably right where it should be, though, at 89. Like, it deserves to be on this list.
That feels about right.
It's not among the greatest that ever happened.
It's a great movie, for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I feel the same way about Sideways, which is at 90. And then, I don't know if you saw Sideways.
I did years ago, but I was not a huge fan.
Okay.
I felt about it the way I feel about wine. Just don't really want to imbibe on either, frankly.
I mean, it really is I think to its credit, it is the wine of movies. Right. Like it really is.
You have to have a taste for it.
You have to taste for it, and it hits you in like different ways throughout. Like a wine. It really is the wine of movies.
Yeah, you swish it around in your mouth and then you spit it out.
Yeah, no, it's got a good back end. It's got legs, but it's a little bitter at the top.
Right, exactly.
Its bouquet is playfully articulate. But then here's the one we got to talk about as a partnership and as a duo. The Verdict is at 91.
So this should be at like 1 or 2. This is David Mamet's The Verdict from 1981.
I think if rewatchability is a factor, I want to bring that up again. It's in the top 30.
Yeah,
I think
it's a great screenplay.
It's such a great screenplay,
and it's so tight. It really is, and it's so different from the novel, from what I understand anyway, because I've never read the novel.
Yeah.
But the novelist went to see it and was like, "Oh, that's my whatever." You know what I mean? It's very different from the novel.
Yeah, totally.
And probably better, because I don't know if anybody ever heard of the novel before this movie came out.
Right.
So, I mean, it's so economical. There's just like,
that's a good word.
It's just there's so little on the page. It's superbly done.
Yeah,
it really is. But I can see why lesser people like the Western Guild, would put
the
it
Western
way
Conference
down.
Of Writers
exactly.
Guild.
Like they like action movies and stuff like that. They put it down lower because they don't understand.
It might be that last thing you said, that it is so economical that it doesn't feel like effort.
Yeah, and it seems so easy too. And it just seems effortless.
I think probably David Mamet had that hurdle to jump a bunch.
Yeah.
Not to be a Mamet apologist, but it is kind of in my DNA. Like, there is so little on the page that it feels like he didn't really do his job.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
But in fact, he did a phenomenal job.
Exactly.
And thought about it in ways you would never.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyway.
All right, now I'm off the Western Guild now. It pissed me off now putting that movie so low.
They put it way low, buddy. What do you got?
Oh, right. So I got well, here's an interesting one. It's 22, The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Great screenplay too, I would say.
I would say the same. Because
Darabont at that time was an unknown director.
Right.
I mean, I don't think anybody had seen a Darabontian film before that. So I think it was, a lot of that movie is the screenplay. I think it tells the story really well.
True. I think that's true.
The way that things are revealed, the secret is revealed and all that stuff. It's
probably as
really
difficult a lift as the LA Confidential book to script move, right?
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know. I think it might have been easier because I was
going to say the source material is less dense.
Exactly. It's a short story, not a 500-page novel.
So what I'm saying is I'm giving our guys a little more credit.
Yeah.
I think this is high for Shawshank, although I love the film. I think 22 is high.
Yeah, it is. It is. I love the film, but I do think the film is sort of a perfect storm of stuff that's not just the screenplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree that. I would say it's a little high. That was the
year that Andy told me that, well, he wasn't going to stick around much longer.
That was not in the script.
There
by
is
the way.
some of that, and there's just some of that feel in there.
There is
that sort of voiceover, like I don't know.
Yeah,
but
there is voiceover stuff. You're right.
It's really good.
But it has some really fun conventions, like doing his parole meeting 3 times in the movie, and the same dialogue but delivered 3 different ways.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Really good.
It's really good.
But yeah, I put it lower.
You would put it
LA
lower? Okay, great.
I think.
That's great. That's great. All right, I got like 2 left I want to talk about.
Oh, do it.
So with verdict, the Psycho at 92.
Yeah, I mean, I would say again, like the other Hitchcocks, it's not about the screenplay.
Genre-defining movie.
Yeah.
But maybe not just because of the screenplay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Anthony Perkins' performance also was legendary and ruined his career, a career-ruining performance.
Oh, right. I mean,
he couldn't do anything
hard
else
to do that,
after
but
that.
He did do that.
Hard to ruin your own career, but he kind of did that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then Do the Right Thing is a movie I have loved in my life. I think it is a great screenplay.
I do too.
I do think it's appropriately placed on this list. But I just wanted to shout it out because I think, Spike is great, and I think that's a great screenplay.
It's my favorite Spike Lee movie.
And directed really well.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. And
I think it's better than The Inside Man for you?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. It's 1 and 1A for me, for him, those 2.
I think the screenplay for me is one of the top ones. Like I would have it higher on the list.
Really?
It's like, I just think the screenplay is so epically well done.
It's
and
really
especially
good.
It's like Shakespeare, like things happen. All of a sudden there's the different characters, the ethnic characters yelling at each other.
Right.
And there's like the story of love and hate with the fists. I mean, there's just so many things, like
for sure,
monologues and things that just happen in it that just blow your mind. I think it's a terrific movie.
I agree with
the story is great. The ending is heartbreaking.
Every word of that.
I mean,
it's really great.
Yeah, I'd have it really high. I probably would put it above LA Confidential, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Do the Right Thing.
Yeah. I think it has more to say than LA Confidential. I
Well,
love LA Confidential, but Do the Right Thing just speaks volumes to me.
I'll say this. It may be a more meaningful movie for sure. It definitely said something at the time that it came out to my direct heart. Like there was, there's this undercurrent of racism throughout my childhood in the schools that I went to. And, it was weird to be like a Celtics fan, and it was weird to be like, and engaging with all that stuff, like what sneakers mean to you, and what,
right.
You know what I mean? And like hanging out outside a pizza shop means to people. And like all that stuff was like so really of its time and so very important. But I think like on the page, like in terms of like the crafting of a story, I would still put LA Confidential above the screenplay, but it's not a more meaningful film by any stretch.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Sort of in terms of craft.
I'm glad we talked about this because I didn't know you felt this way about.
I do. I think Do the Right Thing is one of the great movies.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think it's great too.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
All right, I'm jumping way up.
Good. That's good.
To
got your eye on the clock, do you?
No, I'm just sort of grouping. I'm trying to group some things together.
Let's do it.
So at number 10 is Godfather Part 2, and at number 2 is The Godfather, which I think is fascinating.
That's crazy.
And I might flip those two.
Around
and put Godfather 2 higher.
Sure.
And
I do think it's a more
lower.
complex screenplay.
Definitely more complex.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that The Godfather is, I tell this story all the time. People laugh about The Godfather. It's so often parodied.
Right.
And I really came to it late in life, and I loved it. And I've watched it over and over and over. And, the thing that I think is compelling about it, I remember watching it with my wife sitting next to me, reading a book, because she loves to read. I like to watch movies. So I'm watching the movie, Godfather.
She's reading a book.
She's reading a book, never seen it.
Uh-huh.
And throughout the movie, just the book gets lower and lower and lower until it's down, face down, and she's just watching The Godfather.
Yeah.
Like, that's the power of The Godfather.
For sure.
It's just a spectacular movie.
For sure.
That draws you in. And I know that the process they used to make the movie from the novel was Francis Ford. Well, he had Puzo there with him.
Yeah.
And they took pages
Mario.
from the novel. Good old Mario.
Good old Mario.
Took pages from the novel and pasted them in his in this next to the screenplay. So he had the screenplay, and then next to it he had the page from the novel that was inspired those pages of the screenplay. So he could look at both at the same time while he's directing the movie to kind of make sure he was on track with the novel and put little things in there that kind of little Easter eggs that were mentioned in the novel that you could throw into the background of a shot or whatever.
Right.
So that process of making the movie, I think, is really fascinating too.
Yeah,
Making
I
it
agree.
from a book.
I agree.
So that's a tough one. Whether they're better than LA Confidential,
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
It's crazy.
It is tough because the acting in those movies is also just off the charts.
Yeah, it's hard to know where you want to put the value.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating. All right. The last one I'm going to talk about because it's got our boy in it. Memento at 100.
Oh. Okay.
And I think that's because, that's a Chris Nolan based on the short story by Jonathan Nolan.
Huh.
I'm assuming is maybe a father?
Brother? I don't know. Son? I don't know. Pseudonym? Who knows?
Son!
I don't know.
Go write me a story.
Could have been. You don't know. You don't know.
I have a pretty good guess. Because I think Jonathan Nolan would have had to have been like 12.
That's okay.
That's okay. Whoever's writing is writing.
Who better to come up with a crazy idea than a kid to be like, how about a guy who can't remember nothing? You know what I mean?
So
I'll
he gets
do
it
that.
tattooed on his body, but he doesn't remember that he's done that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a mind fuck.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I think it's when Chris Nolan was making good movies. And which he has stopped doing.
No?
I think he let a bat into his life and started making terrible movies. I don't know what happened.
Well, you said Oppenheimer was okay. You didn't say
I said it was okay.
terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the sham that Batman trilogy is, or that Interstellar is, or whatever.
Yeah.
But those things are just straight ripoffs. Like, look, we can make it look beautiful for you.
Yeah.
Who cares what the story is saying? That's how I see those movies. I got no time for Chris Nolan, but Memento was good, and like Following was good, and like those movies there's
I like
value.
Insomnia.
Insomnia's good.
Yep.
That's a really good movie.
I'll tell you, this is what I'll say about Memento is I never went back and watched it again. I watched it in the 90s, like on VHS or something
hard
from
to
Best
rewatch.
Buy, but I never went back and watched it again.
Yeah.
So to me, that tells me I enjoyed it. It was good. I don't need to watch it again. And
I agree. I think 100 is a great spot for it because it's like it did something really cool that everybody that kind of changed the way people wrote in going forward.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It wasn't going to change your life, and you didn't want to see it again. I certainly didn't want to see it again because once you knew the conceit,
yes,
the cat's out of the bag.
Exactly.
And that's,
it's
and
another one of those gimmick movies.
And that's kind of a shitty cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like this podcast is sort of told out of time. We're just going to tattoo things we want to talk about on our bodies.
I mean, I'm down, man. you tell me the tattoo, I will put it on my body.
That's true.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah.
So I would even kick that movie right off this list. I could probably come up with other movies that aren't on the list that I like.
That's
whose
probably
screenplay is
100%
better.
true. Yeah, that's probably 100%
So
true.
that's where I come down on Memento.
I don't think Heat is on this list, right?
It might be
because we didn't. One of us would have said it, and that's a better screenplay than the top or than the lower 30.
No, I don't see Heat on this list.
That's what I'm saying. And it's better than than all of these 100 through 70.
I don't know if there's a single Michael Mann on this movie.
That's
on this
crazy.
list. I don't know. Let me see if I can.
No, that's probably true because we skipped a few, but I wouldn't have skipped a Michael Mann. I did a whole Michael Mann fest recently. I watched Thief.
Yeah,
and
I don't see. I'm searching MANN and I don't get any results from Michael Mann.
He's not on this list.
So that's
and Collateral.
Yeah.
He did a whole Michael Mann like three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
Like boom, boom, boom.
And you know how I feel about the what's the one with Russell Crowe?
The Inside Man.
The Insider.
Or The Insider.
The Insider.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's great. I just
So
rewatched
good.
that too.
Yeah,
I
it's
did a
great.
whole Michael Mann thing. It's great.
So-
He's great. It's great.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of Woody Allen movies on here.
Wygant.
Yeah, Wygant. Yeah.
Wygant.
There's a bunch.
There's a moment in that movie where Al Pacino gets, I got to tell you this. He gets a phone call from an angry Wygant. He's like, "You sold me out. You fucking, you rat in the grass." You know, you remember that scene where he's on the thing? He hangs the phone and Al Pacino's in a restaurant. He's on the phone and he's like, what are you talking about? What's wrong? And it's just so good. I was like, God damn it, he's killing. He's got the hand in the other ear, and he's like, what are you talking about? And it's so good. It's so good.
Not to mention the hair. Al Pacino's hair in that movie is
I know
incredible.
you swear it's a tube or a rug or a hair
I don't know what
replacement
it is.
treatment or something.
It's just it's impossible to me to look at it. It just doesn't make visual sense. So I
mean,
can
it's
only
got-
chalk it up to CGI. You know what I mean?
There's a
It's-
blast right at the front.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it goes wave in the back. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird.
very weird.
It's weird. I couldn't tell. That's why I sent Bill a picture of it. I paused the movie, sent Bill, and I was like, "What is this? Is this a real thing, or it could be like he was losing his hair and tried to do something
Yeah, poof it out.
floofy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
it not seem that way. So
But-
it could all be him.
But it's full in the back, so why would he poof up the front only?
I mean,
It doesn't
maybe
make any
that's-
sense.
Maybe he was just losing it that way, you know?
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
wanted to poof this part out.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you guys have any opinions on this,
Yes,
please
please
let us know.
do.
Watch The Insider and tell us what you think is going on with Al's hair.
Watch any movie with Al Pacino,
Stop
really.
it. Stop
and
it.
Any recent movie, and try to figure out what's going on with the
Stop
hair.
it. All right, at what year is there
Well,
is there a
what's
line in this?
7 seconds or whatever that one is?
In the
77
receding.
minutes or whatever. What is that movie called? What is that movie?
That's 88. of
88
those, yeah.
minutes,
I know it's
right?
excruciating. It
That-
feels like more.
And they, but the hair in that movie, like even from shot to shot,
Yeah,
is like
that
changing
seemed like a
constantly.
straight up bloop, like
Yeah.
glue on a rug.
Yes.
because it was like flowy and
Yep.
right.
Even Glengarry, I don't know whether that was real or
That
not.
had to be real.
I
You'll break every heart in my body if you say that hair was not real.
can't say because it's so well done.
It's real hair.
You know, I
It's
don't
got
know.
to be.
I mean, it certainly looks like he has real hair.
I mean,
in,
he had great hair in Serpico.
and in
I think he was just holding on to it.
and in what's it called? The one with the blind, where he's the blind guy that you love.
Son
so
of a
much.
Woman.
Yeah, Son of a
I
Woman.
do love that movie.
Totally has real hair in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the same period, right? So
Yep.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, now all I want to do is talk about Son of a Woman. I love that movie. That's not on this
Not
list.
on the list.
An amazing screenplay. I don't know about this Western Conference of writers.
All right, I'm just going to hit the number one
Yeah,
because
dude,
I figure we might as well hit number one.
We got it.
And you know, it's Casablanca.
Yeah.
Which is a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Has a lot to say
Lot
about the
to say.
world
Yeah,
and
yep,
war and
yep,
love
yep,
and
yep.
all that stuff.
It hits all the major things.
Yeah, and for its day, it was a groundbreaking screenplay.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Right.
So,
Based
it's
on the
hard to
play,
compare.
Everybody Comes to Rick's. People should know.
they do come to Rick's.
I've never seen that play.
Neither have I. Never even heard of
I
it.
know.
Right? But they made a great movie out of it.
I always heard the movie was based on this play, but no, I never heard of it. No one is ever producing that play. No
That's
one
right,
ever,
yeah, it's not like
it never goes up. There's never a revival of
That's
it.
right. Yeah, this movie
Maybe
totally.
I'll pitch Everyone Comes to Rick's.
There you go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, why not?
Could really lead the way on that.
But the Casablanca, the screenplay, must have just absolutely ruined Everybody Comes to Rick's.
It must have, right?
Because otherwise, if it was as good as Casablanca, people would be doing this play every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You know?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Who wouldn't want to play Humphrey Bogart? Who wouldn't want to play Rick in that movie? Who wouldn't want to play Ilsa in that? I mean, it's just like full of great characters. Who wouldn't want to play the little guy that you know? What's his name? We're gonna have a beautiful relationship. Whatever that guy.
Yeah,
Claude
that guy,
Rains'
that guy.
character.
Yeah.
I would love to play that. That's
You
a
would.
great part.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good. It's hard to compare movies.
I'm gonna propose we go ahead and cast Humphrey Bogart.
Oh. All right.
Who would they play? Who would they play?
Ricky Jay, Tina Fey, Marvin Gaye, and F.M. Ray.
Who would they play? Who would they play?
Roger Moore, Shah Gabor, Pauly Shore, Tupac Shakur.
Who would they play? Who would they play? Who would they play?
All right, let's see here, sweetheart. Where are we going to put Humphrey Bogart?
I love when you do the impression. I do.
That one's terrible. It's like Peter Brady, my impression of Peter Brady doing Humphrey Bogart. Pork chops and applesauce, huh? That's swell.
That's good stuff. Okay, what do you got? You're
I
the
don't
bogey
know.
guy.
Well, I mean, he's been in so many iconic movies. And he's an icon. I think one of those guys who's a movie star.
Yeah, but like
before being an actor.
That's sort of we're sunsetting Humphrey Bogart, right? Like he's being lost to the consciousness,
to the ages.
Yeah,
you know?
There aren't people like going out of the way to see his movies anymore.
I guess that's true, but I'm sure there are still people around who love
There
Humphrey
must
Bogart,
be, right?
you
It's
know?
a thing you pass on.
Yeah.
If you care about it.
Do you have a particular performance of Humphrey Bogart?
I really don't.
No?
I don't. I think. I'm sure it would be Casablanca. It's the one that stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's his performance as Captain Queeg.
Sure.
In the Cane Mutiny.
The balls in my hand.
he's
The Cane Mutiny. Yeah,
playing-
that's
playing
another
with his
great
balls.
performance. You're
Yeah.
right. That's really good.
Yeah, that's my favorite, and I love that movie. I think he's great in that. So
He is
and it
really
really
good
was
in
like
that.
an acting performance for him more than
That was like
his
the
usual stuff.
proto A Few Good Men, for those of you that don't know.
That's right. It's a
Yeah.
great movie.
It's a great movie.
Check
And
it
there's
out.
great courtroom scenes, and there's great rile up the bad guy so that he admits to shit he shouldn't.
Yeah. There's so
It's
much
like
in that that's
really
in
good.
A Few Good Men,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
So where do we put? I'm having a hard time. I mean,
I was really heavily leaning on you for this.
Oh, really?
I mean, you're the Bogart guy. Not that I can't put him in a place. I could.
Yeah.
I could totally put him in a place.
I'm torn between like.
Go ahead.
I'm
Yeah.
really torn.
You got to lead the way on this.
I mean, I could see like a Vincennes. I could see him being the cop,
Sure.
teaching the other cops how to be cops.
He was a little like that
kind of
guy.
thing.
Yeah, totally.
Because he was very cool. Ultimately, when you think of cool,
That's right.
he's one of the names that pops up.
That's right. Yeah.
And Vincennes is cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It is tough because he's not perfectly right for that.
yeah, exactly.
I think.
Because he's a little like broken down. He's a little like sullen. He's not
Yeah.
as shiny and polished as
Yeah.
Spacey is in
Right.
the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't really fit the other two guys.
Bogey's
exactly.
a tough one.
He could do a Bud White, except he was very small.
He was slight.
Yeah, he was a
slight.
tiny little man.
Yeah.
But he played a tough guy. you
Yeah.
know, so he could do that.
Sure.
Maybe what about a Dudley Smith?
Dudley Smith is what I was thinking.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So
I
we
don't
got
know. I mean,
there.
he'd have to pull off some kind of Irish brogue thing, and I'm not sure he'd be so good at that.
That's true.
Well,
Wait.
Yeah.
How about a Pierce Patchett?
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
So you got there.
You
got there.
Put him in a polo
This is what
shirt.
you do. You give us a little bad ones, and then you'll come like 10 minutes later with a good one.
Put him in a polo shirt with a little sweater.
Put him played by my personal friend, David Strathairn.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Big fan of his.
He's fantastic.
But you're right. That's the role.
Pierce Patchett.
Give him a little Walt Disney mustache.
Yes.
Put him in a sweater vest, like you said.
Uh-huh.
We're off to the races.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's a twisted guy.
He's got a lot of good
He
dialogue.
gets women all cut up to look like movie stars.
He's got
so
a lot
he
of good dialogue in there.
prostitute him out. He
Yeah,
really
to
does.
play with. You know what I mean?
Really.
I can't think of any.
Well, why do men and women usually see each other, Detective White?
There you go. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
For the many reasons that men and women usually see each other.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, that'd be great.
No, I nailed it. I got it.
You got it.
It's I got it right.
Pierce Patchett.
Yeah, Pierce
I love
Patchett.
that.
I think
Okay.
we nailed it.
We got it.
All right.
Whew. That was close.
Bogey plays Pierce Patchett.
There we go. And we have a new member of the Patchett Corral, which is great. So we're slowly populating the corrals.
Indeed.
Which is nice.
Indeed. A mere 3 episodes in.
See, for those of you listening who thought this would be an absolute failure of a podcast, I just want to point out we've already got people in corrals.
Who would think that?
We've played Pasty Doughy Bastard at least one time.
That
this
alone
is-
was worth getting back together for.
We've talked about all these screenplays and we've badmouthed the American screenwriters in the West. It's terrific.
But only in the West.
Yeah, exactly.
The Eastern version,
They're fine.
on board with.
They are fine.
Send me the flyer.
Yeah.
Let me know how I can support the cause.
I want to see their list.
Happy to do it.
If they have one,
Indeed.
pass it on.
Give it over.
That's right.
Yeah.
We could do a whole nother one of these about that, which I'm sure everyone would love to listen to. Oy. So in the end, what did we land on? We feel like LA Confidential maybe could come up.
Should
a
be
bit.
way higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be way higher.
Yeah.
I have it in the 20s.
In the 20s.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Yeah, I'd put it maybe in the 30 to 40 range.
All right.
But yeah, definitely higher than where it is.
I got
right
it in the
now.
mid 20s.
Mid 20s.
That's right.
That's great.
That's right. I mean, that's what I think it deserves. Honestly,
Yeah, it's really good, and
It's
like you
really
said,
good.
the degree of difficulty was really high.
yeah,
But they started with some great material, so they had that going for
they
them.
did.
But to be able to pick and choose where to
Yeah,
start and end, weeding it down and compressing it down, and
it helped me decide that's how I want to make my movie.
Ah.
When I make my movie, I want it to be based on source material,
Okay.
so that I can go to it
Yeah.
in moments of need.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Just like Francis Ford Coppola did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Like all of my favorite movies seem to do. They seem to go to a source material.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Well, this was fun.
This was fun. This is
worked.
another triumph. We did it.
This was a triumph.
It was a triumph.
I'm making a note here.
Are you insinuating
Great
with
success.
tone that it was not?
No.
Okay.
It's hard to overstate
Well, I like this one.
my satisfaction.
Now it feels like you didn't like it.
I'm quoting a song. I'm quoting song lyrics. This was a triumph. I'm making a note here. Great success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction.
This is from a song?
Yeah.
Is it a Sondheim song?
No, it's Jonathan Colton.
Who's that?
You don't know Jonathan Colton? You know Jonathan
I know
Colton.
the name, but remind me.
He's like a nerdy guy who writes nerdy songs, and he did for like 2 years.
Yeah, where would I know him?
Uh,
I'm 50. Get off my back with this. You don't know Jonathan Colton?
I thought you did. I feel like I played songs
You
for
may
him
have.
of his before,
That
and you're
doesn't
like,
mean
"Oh, I love
know
Colton."
them. That doesn't mean I know him.
And I remember you
Oh,
being
if
like,
I said
love
I love
Colton."
him,
Yeah.
I was pulling your leg. I didn't mean. I don't think I know him.
But he's great. But check him out, Jonathan Colton. He's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
Really
that's from a song of his.
Yeah, and he developed his songwriting technique by doing a thing where he would write or record something every day. That was his thing. He did this
Oh.
for like a year.
That's probably how it came up before.
Yeah, and so he released like 3 albums called, or no, it was a week. Once a week he would write and record a different song.
Yeah.
And so he released like 3 albums called Thing a Week. Thing
Nice.
Week 1, Thing Week 2, Thing Week 3, with all the stuff he came up with in the year that he
Keeps
did that.
you honest.
It's 52 songs.
Keeps
you know what I mean?
moving.
Yeah.
Keeps you motivated.
Exactly. And
Keeps
you learn.
locked in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You learn how to do stuff. You learn.
That's right.
You find your voice and all that kind of stuff.
All
So
that stuff.
I am a big fan. Yeah.
I mean, I like that philosophy.
Yeah,
I think that's a super philosophy.
it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time, we don't know what we're going to have for you, but it'll be something
There's
else
going to
really
be an
fun.
episode that,
Yeah.
that approaches the story in some way from some direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It'll be full of surprises.
Probably.
A tour de force.
Is that what we do?
That's what we do.
All right.
All right. Well, until then, thank you all for listening.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.